Hi, welcome back to my channel. My name is Laura and today I'm going to do my very large May manga haul. I think I ended up buying about 80 volumes of manga this month. Yeah. So yeah, that happened. I ended up going to a local sale that does sort of a charity book sale, and people all over the city donate their things and then they sell the books off at a ridiculous price. So I ended up getting about 30 books for $1 each. And then I ended up buying a couple things because they're new releases and I can't wait any longer because it's driving me crazy. And then also I went to a manga sale which I have been to before, and it's a local comic book store owner, and they do kind of overstock sales. So it's basically like people do trade in, or they buy old stock from other comic book stores and then just sell them at like significantly discounted. So they were all about $5 a piece. So yeah, everything is quite cheap, and that's basically how I like to collect manga, or hoard manga as the case may be. One thing I'm going to say is I don't know what most of these titles are about. I'm really kind of going blind in for most of these 80 volumes. This is blind shopping, hooray! So the first ones I'm going to show you are all the new titles that I bought. I just went into Chapters and bought them, so they weren't very cheap, but they were all things that I've been kind of eyeing. The first one is I Am a Hero by Kengo Hanazawa, and I haven't read this yet, but I believe it's a story about a man in Tokyo and the onset of a zombie apocalypse, and he's a little bit mentally unstable, I think, and he happens to think that he's going to become Tokyo's savior because he owns a gun. I picked up Paradise Residence by Kosuke Fujishima, and this is the same author as Oh My Goddess or Ah My Goddess. It kind of looks from the description that it's a kind of slice of life or comedy about a girls' boarding school. But Oh My Goddess was very popular when I got into anime, and it was quite a good title, or I enjoyed reading it, I enjoyed watching it. I have quite a lot of the anime, if not all of it, somewhere. I don't own any of the manga, but I just thought it would be nice to see more from this author and, you know, see what else they have to offer. I bought the next volume of Requiem of Rose King, Volume 4 by Aya Kano, and you might remember that I read this for Dewey's 24-hour readathon. This is kind of a retelling of Richard III or Henry VI by Shakespeare, and it's quite dark, kind of medieval, and it definitely very beautifully drawn. Aya Kano, just really stunning illustrations. I'm enjoying it quite a lot. And then I bought Volume 14 of Library Wars or Toshokan Senso by Kiro Yumi and Hiro Arikawa, and this is not the final volume. I had the final volume. I was reading the series. I was really excited because I hadn't read it since, like, I don't know, Volume 8, and so I was really getting into it, and then I got to Volume 13 and realized that I hadn't bought Volume 14. Why hadn't I bought it? I don't know. So I ended up reading past Volume 14 and spoiling myself and reading Volume 15, and I really shouldn't have done that, but I went out the next day and bought Volume 14 at the store. So yeah, now I have Volume 14 and I can go through and read it again, but it kind of was like the volume that I should have read in order, so that was kind of too bad, but that's okay. It happens. I recommend the story. I think it's a well-constructed, good flowing story, and I believe that there is a sequel or spin-off that is not translated in English yet, so hopefully it will be coming as well. So the next whole bunch I am going to show you are from that charity sale that I went to. I think I got about 30 volumes from there. I don't know what most of these are about, so I'm not going to talk extensively about any of them. So the first title I got is an ADV release, which means it's out of it's out of print. This is Najika Blitz Tactics by Takuya Tashiro, and the back sort of caption says "sweet smelling, sexy super agent," which is, yep, that doesn't sound good to me. So I don't know what this is about, but cost me $1. I ended up buying Volume 1 of Good Witch of the West, art by Haruhiko Momokawa, and story by Noriko Ogiwara. I bought Mikanse No. 1 by Majiko, and this looks like a comedy and time travel and something to do with magical like pop singers. This one looks kind of interesting. The Quasar of Stigmata, and art by Kanetsu Sato, story by Hiroyuki Yoshino. Another Tokyo Pop title. It says it's 18+, and it looks a little bit like a battle fantasy on a kind of religious or Catholic school. Kind of a typical scenario. I ended up getting Volume 1 and Volume 2 of Maid War Chronicle by Ran. This is published by Del Rey, another title that is out of print. It looks a little bit like a comedy fantasy, and maybe some battle involved. I think these are like regular maids that serve tea, and they end up having to kind of join forces as an armed force to protect their prince or something, so it's kind of like comedy, I think. I got some old flopped editions of Viz titles, Fushigi Yugi Volume 1 and Volume 2 and Ceres Volume 1. And I actually have a little bit of Ceres in this flopped edition, so it's kind of nice just to add to it, because I don't want to really spend any money, but it's nice to like have complete collections, even if they're, you know, I have it in a newer edition, but I like old editions, so. This is actually fairly new, and I was surprised to see it. The Devil is a Part-Timer by Satoshi Wagahara, and this is actually a light novel, and I have really no interest in getting into light novels. I know that they're kind of making a surge in popularity, but it's just not something that really appeals to me. I'm more in it for the art, so I might check it out, but I think I'd rather read the comic first, so. I ended up buying the, I think it's a complete collection of Tokyo Mew Mew, at least it's volumes 1 through 7, and this is by Miya Ikumi and Reiko Yoshida, and all of the volumes that I got, they have been really, really either loved or hated. They look very beat up. This is probably the best of the few. Some of them are quite dirty and some of them are quite torn. But it's a title that I don't have, and it's not something that I've read, so I may read it, and if it's kind of worth keeping, I'll like slowly replace the volumes when I see them at secondhand sales. I got R.G. Veda by Clamp, Volume 1, another title that I haven't read, but it says Clamp's debut manga, so that's kind of nice. It's something that I had always wanted to buy, and I just never got around to it, and then now it's just like wildly out of print. I ended up buying Volume 1 through 8 of Rosario Vampire, and I'm not entirely sure what this is about. I think it's a high school comedy, and one of the characters is a vampire. I assume it is still fairly new. It's a Shonen Jump Advance. It might be in print still, and I'm not entirely sure that this is all of it. I think there might be more in the series, maybe a Volume 9, and I think there's a spin-off as well, so definitely not complete, but it was a good deal, even if I don't know anything about it, because I think I spent $2 a book. The next title I got was this. It's more of a kind of a kids activity book based on an anime. It says Hajime ni Fumajime Kai Ketsu Jirori Anime Daisukan #1. And it's all kind of color. There's some stories in it, as well as some like activities, so you can like spot the difference, or you know, things like that. So it kind of looked cute. There's no writing in it, so I thought maybe I would try and read through it. My reading is like I can read it, but I don't understand anything, so children's books are always a good idea in my opinion. And the one thing that I was really pleased to get, although probably in the worst condition, are these Sailor Moon Chicks comics, and they're old releases by Tokyo Pop. They're just something that I've never owned, and I've been really wanting to own, and I've actually been actively looking to see where I can get them for the best price, so I ended up finding 5. There's volumes 1 to 4 of Sailor Moon Super S, and volume 5 of Sailor Moon, and unfortunately this volume, obviously a whole bunch of pages are coming out, so it's not like it's in a great condition, but just something that I've always wanted to have in my collection, so yeah, I'm pretty happy about that. And I bought 2 volumes of Beat X by Masami Kurumada, and this is the same author of Knights of the Zodiac, so I bought volume 3 and volume 4, and these covers are just really shiny, and I love it. and I think volume 5 gets less shiny, so I just really like having these like foily books. So that's it for the really cheap sale that I went to, or the charity sale that I went to. And then yesterday ended up going to like a legitimate manga sale for like Overstock comics, and so these all cost me about $5 a piece, so a little bit more expensive, but also kind of I could be a little more selective. You know, at the charity sale, literally I just went in and we picked up everything we didn't own, and we were kind of non-discriminate. We just picked them up because we knew that we could do something with them, or, you know, they're worth having in our collection for $1. These ones, of course, I'm not so willing to like pay $5 for something I don't really want. So the first title that I got is To Terra Volume 2 by Keiko Takemiya, and this title is just, it's a little bit hard to find now. I think it's recently out of print or just unavailable online. I've been newly acquainted with reading Keiko Takemiya after reading Moto Hagio, because they both belong into that 49ers group, or the 24-year group, and so I want to kind of read more within that group, and so this is an author that I should have picked up when it was more available, but I am regretting not. So anyway, I ended up getting volume 2 for a good deal. And then these are random volumes from MPD Psycho by Sho Tajima and Eiji Otsuka. I actually haven't read it yet. I only have volume 1, but I had wanted to finish the series, and then I could end up buying a couple of volumes for cheap, so I'm just going to slowly pick away at the series and fill it in as I find volumes. So I ended up getting volume 9 and volume 10. They're both still in plastic, and I hear it is quite a gruesome series, so but also very good, so I am looking forward to reading this one eventually. And then this is new to me, Classical Medley by Senai Kana. It says, a young prince and his 2 companions are on the run from a possessed king. I also got volume 2. And I don't know too much about it, but it is published by CMX, and there's just something about CMX titles that I love, and actually my sister saw this at the sale and she said, here you go, buy this. So I did, because there's just something about whoever was making the choice about bringing comics over. I think they had just something about them, have very similar tastes to what I like, so hopefully this one will follow the trend. I got another volume in the Urusei Yatsura series. This one is Return of Lum, and as I have mentioned in other videos, these old Viz titles, they didn't put volume numbers on, so you kind of have to go by like subtitles, so hopefully one day I will be able to collect more of this title, but it is very difficult to know which ones you have when there's no volume numbers. Then I got this title, Love Song Four Tales by shoujo artist Keiko Nishi. I have never seen this before. I don't know anything about it. I flipped through it and almost looks experimental, so hopefully it's good. Yeah, if you've seen this before, let me know. And this a little bit fills a hole. This is Saint Tail by Megami Tachikawa, and this is volume 3. This is another magical girl series, but it kind of almost is a little bit like Dean Angel, I think, if I recall correctly. It's been a long time. I bought Be With You. This is by Takuji Ichikawa, art by Sai Kawashima, script by Yoko Ino, and I believe this is based on a novel. And I actually have read this before, and I think it is a story about a man and a son, and their, or you know, the mother has recently passed away, and then they have this sort of, she ends up kind of coming back to them during this period of, I don't know if it's Oban or something, but she ends up coming back to them, and they sort of have a relationship with her after she has died. I can't remember exactly how it all goes, but I remember it being kind of sad. I'm slowly collecting volumes of Seiho Boys High School by Kaneyoshi Izumi. I have 1 to 3 already, so I bought volume 4, volume 7, and volume 8. And volume 8 is the final volume, so I just have to kind of fill a little bit in the middle. And this is a shoujo title, but it is a male-based romance, so it's actually a boys' school, and it's about them falling in love with girls outside of school, I believe. I don't remember being super impressed with the title, despite the fact that it's quite different than other shoujo titles, but I am willing to give it another shot. I bought this title, Seraphic Feather Seeds of Chaos by Hiroyuki Utatane, and Yo Morimoto. Here's another volume 1, which means that there is more to buy of this series. This is Lycanthropy. Leo, I'm not sure how to pronounce that. Story by Kengo Kaji and art by Kenji Okamura. It looks like it's a little bit of a werewolf type story, so about a teenage track star who all of a sudden is kind of morphing into this kind of werewolf creature. So that might be an interesting read. It looks quite dark and a little bit almost like a horror title, so that will be a nice read. The next title that I got was Suikoden No. 3, Volume 7 by Aki Shimizu, and I really like Aki Shimizu, at least I like his art. He also draws Quan, which was never completed as far as I know. I think there's about 4 volumes out of Quan. This one is based on a video game, Suikoden, obviously, and it was the only volume that I needed to complete the collection. I think this was one of the very first titles that I ended up buying. Finally have it complete, so this is what, 12 years of buying comics looks like. A whole series is ready to read. This one also completes a series for me, Dream Saga by Megami Tachikawa, Volume 4. I've never read this before, and I'm not really sure what it's about, but finally I can read it, and I think it is a short series, so I think it's only about 6 volumes. Another title that I've been slowly working on and is finally complete as far as I know is Corrector Yui Lost in Cyberspace, written and illustrated by Keiko Okamoto, created by Kia Asamiya. I have never read this, but I have been buying it for a long time, just like the other titles. It's another one of these older, teeny tiny Tokyopop titles, so fun. I bought more of the small Tokyopop title, or small line of Tokyopop, and it is volumes 3, 4, 5, and 7, 8 of Peach Girl. And I have read Peach Girl. I've never read them in this edition, so I don't know if there are differences. And my sister owns quite a lot of it, so I'm not even sure if these are duplicating in her collection, but I'm on kind of a mission to buy all of these little teeny tiny Tokyopop editions, and right at this moment I need them all, so yeah, I couldn't pass them up, even though it's going to be very difficult to complete this collection. And I ended up getting Children of the Sea Volume 1, Volume 2, Volume 3, and Volume 4, and there's, I believe, one more volume to buy, which is still available on Amazon. And I have read the first 2 volumes, I believe, from the library. This one is just a really appealing title, and I remember being really engrossed in it when I read it, so I'm not sure that I could really tell you too much about it. I think it has something to do with children having kind of a connection to sea life, and then kind of being drawn into the sea, kind of like having this unspoken connection to the sea where they just really can't resist it, I think. I don't really remember a whole lot, but I remember feeling really engrossed in this title and wanting to own it when I was reading it. So I bought another volume of Bakune Young, story and art by Toyokazu Matsunaga. This is volume 2. I don't think that this completes a series, but it definitely fills in a gap, and I think there might be 1 or 2 more volumes of this that I need to buy, but I had recently started buying this. I think I started buying in February, so glad to be still seeing this, or seeing new volumes of this, so hopefully there will be more to come. And I bought a volume of You're Under Arrest, The Wild Ones by Kosuke Fujishima, and this is another title by the author of Oh My Goddess. I don't think I have read this before, but I definitely have the anime on VHS tape, so yeah, kind of a nostalgic title for me. One of my last big hauls, I ended up buying volumes 2 through 9 of Harlem Beat, and I had said that I didn't really know if there was more to it, and then I found out that it later was re-released again by Tokyopop. It was released with a new name, this time Rebound, and so I ended up buying volume 10, volume 11, volume 12, volume 13, Volume 14, Volume 15, Volume 16, Volume 17, and Volume 18. And Volume 18 is the final volume, so technically I have Volumes 2 through 18, even though the first, Volume 2 through 9 is Harlem Beat, and then Volume 10 through 18 is Rebound. The seller actually had Volumes 2 through 9 in this edition, and now I'm a little bit kicking myself that I didn't pick those up as well, so I think the next time that I go to a sale, I'll make sure that I pick those up. I am very doubtful that they are going to be sold before the next time that I have a chance to go. So yeah, this is by Yuriko Nishiyama, and it is a basketball series. I got volume 15 of Haruka Beyond the Streams of Time. I have been slowly working on filling this one up, and now I am only missing volume 10, so I am just about done buying this series. Very happy about this one, Cyborg 009, the manga by Shotaro Ishinomori, and this is by Tokyo Pop Vintage. And I have volumes 1 through 3 already, and there are, I think, about 7-ish volumes. I'm not entirely sure, don't quote me on that, but this is a title that I've been wanting to buy, but the prices online are so extremely ridiculous. I think volume 4 is starting at $50. I picked this up for $5. And the seller had quite a lot of Excel Saga, so I picked up volume 2 by Rikdo Koshi. I already have volume 1. I have a couple of random volumes, but I'm just going to slowly fill this in because Excel Saga, it's really not my taste. I don't normally like these like really over-the-top, exaggerated comedies. It is sort of a comic that is sort of like a fan favorite, or a culturally kind of sits within its time period and a time frame, and it kind of has some value, so I definitely want to have it. I probably will read it. I have seen lots of the anime, but it's just still, it's like, it's so extreme that I have a hard time kind of getting into it. So I also bought Gunslinger Girl Volume 15 by Yu Ida. This is the final volume, and I actually had everything up until 14, so this completes my series, which is great. I bought Volume 5 of Wedding Peach by Nao Yazawa, created by Sukihiro Tomita. And I have volumes 1 through 4. This is definitely the very first title that I bought when I started buying manga, and yeah, I'm still working on it. It's not the greatest. It is another magical girl series, but it's a magical girl series where everyone transforms into brides. Why? So that's it for my manga haul for May. There will be another haul in June, I'm sure, because you know, most of this stuff were secondhand titles, and they were kind of things that I wasn't really planning on buying, although a lot of them finished series, which is amazing. I can't believe how many series I was able to finish. But I do have so many titles that are brand new that I want to buy, and so many continuing series that have, you know, available volumes, so I'm going to have to start really upping my game and picking those titles up, so you will be seeing those in the next few months, and hopefully it's not going to be too overwhelming for my wallet. Anyway, thank you for watching my video. Let me know if you have read any of these titles, or if you think any of them, you know, are amazing, or if you think any of them really suck. You know, let me know what your opinions are, and I will see you in my next video. Bye for now.